Three, two, from high atop the world headquarters of Southeastern Fly. This is the Southeastern Fly podcast. Thanks for joining us on this episode. And feel free to share this with your friends and your fishing partners out there. Text it to them or put it out there on Facebook bug or Instagram or formerly Twitter, whatever that is now. There's a X, I think is what they call it. So share it wherever you can. Also, remember now you can watch some of these episodes on YouTube, and this should be one of them, even though you may not want to look at my ugly face, but subscribe and to see SEF on YouTube. That'd be awesome if you do that. For those who are new to Southeastern Fly, my name is David Perry. I'm the owner of Southeastern Fly, also known as SEF. I'm the host of the Southeastern Fly podcast. I am the owner and head guide at Southeastern Fly, which is it's a guide service in Middle Tennessee. But through this podcast and through a lot of other things that I've done over the past 20 years, I've got a lot of connections within the greater southeastern area as well as a bunch out west, some in Michigan, really just kind of all over the place. So got some connections out there. So if you have any questions on that, just let me know. But the guide service is primarily Middle Tennessee. And we got on the Elk River near Lynchburg, the Collins River for Muskie, the Caney Fork near Cookeville, Tennessee, the Stones River near Murfreesboro, and we guide for all levels of anglers here. So just if you're wondering, well, who is this David Perry guy? What's he all about? Well, that's kind of a been fishing about 20 years and guiding just done well, I've been fishing a lot more than 20 years now that I think about it. Uh, let's just say 25 years. I think that's right. And 20 of that's been here in Middle Tennessee. So guiding about the same, maybe a few years less here in Middle Tennessee. I think it was maybe 2005, something like that I started. But anyway, used to listen to a lot of podcasts to help me learn, and this is kind of my way of giving back to fly fishing through sharing my knowledge on these episodes and then sharing my knowledge and others' knowledge through the interviews that we do at the first of each month. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what we do here at Southeastern Fly. Today, I want to talk about a few strategies, three, as a matter of fact, and you might get a bonus in there. We usually give a bonus, so we may give a bonus today of keeping cool while fly fishing. The first one I want to talk about is hydration or your body. And I've hit on this before. I've kind of nibbled around the edges on this one. And several years ago, I did a Facebook interview thing, whatever it was, about keeping cooler keeping yourself cooler when fly fishing. Make sure you're in good shape so that you're fishing just as good at the beginning of the day as you are at the end of the day. And you may laugh at that, but day in, day out, I see people who can fish really good at the end of the day. They don't keep hydrated. They'll start cramping. I've done that before. I get a cramp in my arm. Usually that's where it shows up, and I just need to drink some more fluids and get that in me, and that'll go away. But I've seen people get really tired. You can get headaches without enough hydration. There's a lot of things that you can do, and if you're out like I was, we just got back from the beach, and it was blazes hot down there. And one of the things that I tried to do while I was down there was keep hydrated and keep from getting roasted with the sun because it was hot and there was not a cloud in the sky. It was a great day. We had a great time. Uh, Shout out to Captain Danielle Davidson down in Appalachia. She did an awesome job. Highly recommend her down there. But at the end of the day, while we were going in, I started getting a little bit of a headache, and I was like, okay, that means I didn't hydrate enough. But anyway, so I didn't drink enough water. So let's talk about that. So drinking water, why would you do that? Well, found out kind of the hard way that every cell, every tissue, every organ in your body requires requires water to function properly. So you want to make sure that you do that. Uh, so keep hydrated with water. So drink plenty of water. Take plenty of water with you, whether you're wading or you're in a boat or whatever you're doing. Heck, you could be standing walking on the beach. Same thing. Walking up in the Smokies. Same thing. You'll want to keep hydrated. Um, you would want to do that just so that you keep yourself, all the cells and all the things in your body at a reputable, respectable level, and so that they'll function properly. Properly. Strategy. One of the strategies that we have is if you have a cooler that has ice in it, I put that on my head, then put my hat on. That'll cool down your head. And we're going to talk about your head a little bit later here. But drink water on the way to the river. That's always a good one. And if you can keep from peeing when you get there, that's good because that'll all sweat out of you. So the more you can get in, the better off you if you are. Don't pee in your waders or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that keep yourself hydrated, drink plenty of water before you get there. I did a little research on coffee because I'm a coffee guy and I drink coffee all day long usually. And I found out that it can, if you drink a whole lot of it, which nobody can define a whole lot, but if you drink a lot of it, then you can dehydrate that way. So I've introduced more water into my regiment during the day of drinking coffee throughout the day. So sports drinks, take along some sports drinks. And I've been doing this a little bit. I'm going to start doing it more uh, just because I know that I'm a little short. So why take water and sports drinks, or why not take one or the other? Those two work hand in hand. And sports drinks do have water in them, of course, like everything, but like Gatorade, Powerade, that sort of thing. The sports drinks do something just a little bit different. They supply muscles with energy. And you think about where so Gatorade. I'm not a Florida Gators fan, but let's just talk about them just a minute. That's where I reckon Gatorade was developed for the football team down there, which makes a lot of sense. And it reduces muscle cramps, reduces dehydration. Uh, so that's what they were trying to do with the football team. They developed Gatorade. I'm sure there's a fund or a trust down there for the Gatorade sales that they get a cut of that. So that was a great invention, actually. So shout out to all you Florida fans out there. Shout out to y'all because you did develop that from what I understand. So that's a good thing. But reducing muscle cramps makes ton of sense down there in Florida, especially playing football, but also going down there to fish and that sort of thing. You can get those. Your muscles will start cramping if you don't keep yourself hydrated. Sports drinks kind of help give that back a little bit. But don't just drink sports drinks. Find your ratio between that and water. There's a lot of other things you can drink out there probably that will help. Uh, I don't recommend Cokes and that sort of. I don't really drink Cokes anyway, but even sweet tea. I'm a fool for sweet tea. I'm a fool for good sweet tea. Let's put it that way. I love it, but I don't drink it while I'm guiding. I just probably drink it mostly whenever I grab something to eat or something like that. But anyway, find your ratio between water and sports drinks so that you're fresh at the beginning of the day and you're fresh at the end of the day. You need to go to the bathroom sometime throughout the day, even if it is a little bit of a pain on the river. You do need to do that. You need to find that you're getting enough fluids in your body to produce urine. Reduce alcohol. Boy, this is really going to hit some of you hard. Somebody probably just almost drove off the road right there whenever I say reduce alcohol. But really, that's a big one. And what I mean by that is the night before, I don't know how many times I've seen people do that. On one specific trip, we had three boats on this trip, and we had a bachelor party, and I would say that there were six people. I would say four out of the six were hungover really bad, and they did not have a fun day. I also guided two young men that were. It was rush week at the fraternity, close to one of the rivers that I guide on, and one of them's dad set up a trip, and they were rushing the night before. They got in at 4 o'clock, had been drinking all night long, and had headaches. I didn't realize this until after lunch, or actually right before lunch, and I just happened to be cooking hamburgers that day. I've never seen anybody devour a hamburger that quickly, but they were also dehydrated. We tried to pump them up as much as we could with water, and I don't remember having too many sports drinks on that float, but that helped a little bit. Anyway, alcohol reduces the electrolytes that you. So we were trying to put electrolytes back into their body and trying to rehydrate them. So I don't know. You find all kinds of things on guide trips, and it's really kind of at the time you got to make sure you're doing what you can. But after it's over with, everybody has a good laugh. For those particular guys with the bachelor party, I don't know if they've laughed yet. It's been several years. The other two guys, the two young men from the college that were rushing, they're fine. We had a good laugh about it before the day was over. So here's a guide tip for all you guides out there that maybe are a little younger, maybe starting out. And thank you for listening. I know some of y'all have listened to almost every, if not everyone, and some of y'all are trying to catch up, and some of y'all maybe are just coming in. But keeping your clients hydrated, like I said, keeps them from cramping up and that sort of thing. But also, you got to watch out for yourself, and that's something that Danielle and I talked about. Was if they need water, you need water. I guarantee you, if you're rowing a boat, pushing a boat along, even if you're waiting, you think about people getting split up. Your clients get split up, and next thing you know, you're trying to run up and down the river. Even 20, 30, 40 feet apart is a little bit more throughout the day. So you're probably working a little bit harder than they are. So if they need water, you need water. You need to make sure you keep yourself fresh also, as well as them. You want to keep them fresh too. I get that, but don't neglect yourself. Believe me. Trust me, I've done that before. It's no fun rowing the last 3 miles of a trip and not feeling well. Um, bring yourself a couple of extra Gatorades at this time. So I think it's hold on. Let me check the Google here and see what or my weather app. And the temperature today, right now, is 89 degrees. It's going to be 92. My next trip, it's going to be 96 and not a cloud in the sky almost. And then the next day is going to be 95 and partly cloudy. So bring a couple of extra Gatorades along with you too. So that's our guide tips for the day or for this episode. But you folks that are just getting out and are able just to fish on your own on your day off or whatever, don't bypass this. This piece of keeping yourself cool is really big. So let's move on to your head. Exposure to sunlight and heat can cause quicker hydration. So what does that mean? Means get a hat, but don't just get any hat. Get lighter hats for summer. I back it's been a year or so probably. We talked about dark bottoms on the bill for better sun blocking when you're looking for fish. So that shades your eyes a little bit more. It makes your sunglasses kick in a little better on those bright sunny days. So that's good. So the light hats, I'm talking about light in color if you can get it on the top, dark under the bill if you can get that, but also like I've got what is this one? Carhartt hat on right now. It's a lighter Carhartt hat. Say that 10 times. It's a lighter Carhartt hat, and it works better. It keeps me a little cooler than my other Carhartt hat, which is more of a winter hat. But I've got to where I don't wear this one anymore because it's even heavier than one of the Orvis hats that I've got, and they're not that mesh. They're not a mesh trucker hat or whatever it is, mesh in the back, because the sunlight penetrates through the mesh. And again, exposure to sunlight and heat can cause quicker dehydration. Um, so I keep that in mind. So a light hat, and you can get a whole bunch of them. Columbia has them, Sims has them, Orvis has them. You can run down to the local hat store. There's these hat stores that here and there, and you can look at them and make sure that you get the lightest fabric that you can get, but still has SPF. And we'll talk about sun protection factor or SPF here in a minute. Um, so one of the things that I've learned after a long time, this taken me 20 years really to learn, and for a long time I would come home. My wife would say, "Did you wear your hat today?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wore my hat today." Yeah, I didn't want my head to get roasted. And she'd say, "Your forehead is absolutely beet red." Okay. And then I would come in again. She'd say the same thing. And she kept saying that. I was like, I know I'm wearing a hat. Well, that got me to thinking, I'm wearing a hat. I know I'm wearing a hat. What's going on? So I was wearing a hat, a newer hat. And I had it pretty tight on my head because, the wind has been blowing. Anytime the wind blows, you don't want to have to chase your hat down, especially if you're rowing a boat, because that's a lot more work sometimes to go get it and get it scooped up. And I noticed that my hat was tight and it was uncomfortable down to my eyeballs, down at the top of my sunglasses. So I would let it roll up a little bit like this. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this right now. So I would let it kind of go up in the front and pull down in the back. And throughout the day, I would keep pulling down on the back of it to keep it, um, more comfortable because it was too tight. So I loosened it up. And as I've loosened it up, I've had less and less sun on my forehead. Um, so even with sunblocks, it was getting burnt, which was crazy. I thought, well, I'll put some sunblock on here. It'll be fine. Well, that didn't even work because it would get rubbed off throughout the day. Whenever you'd adjust your hat, it'd rub it off a little bit. And the next thing you know, you'd start getting sunburn. You can really tell if you got a sunburn because if you put sunblock on it, it burns like crazy. So it's like baking in the sunblock or something. Uh, so I've loosened it a little bit, and that lowers the bill in the front, but still wear sunblock. We're going to talk about sunblock shortly, on my forehead, my ears, my nose, all that stuff too. But I loosened it up, let it slide down a little bit, kind of rest more on my glasses now. I hate to say this, but a flat bill hat out there for you people that know me, I don't really look too great in a flat bill hat. I'm sure you understand that. But that flat bill hat can actually rest on your glasses and provide more shade. I hate that those words are coming out of my mouth, but that really does. So I've also got something that helps with that, and I've got a wide brim hat. Mine happens to be a Columbia hat. It's got a wide brim all the way around it. It's kind of floppy, and it'll flop down a little bit more. But I still was getting sunburn on it, so I have to really kind of watch that. But it also keeps the sun off the back of your neck, which is also critical because sun on your neck heats your head up too. Head is one of the places, again, that heat can get into, and you sweat more and so on and so forth, and the drill. If you've been out there, you totally know what I'm talking about. Um so definitely want to look into, I call it my floppy hat. I've always called it my floppy hat for some reason. And it helps a little bit, but there again, it's got some small holes in it. It's woven. It's woven, and the sun gets into it too. You can take ice and put it on your head and put your hat on. That'll cool you down a little bit. We usually have some kind of ice in the cooler, or an ice pack or something like that. But you look kind of crazy with the ice pack on your head. But hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So face covering, I've got a ton of those different buffs and stuff like that. And you got to make sure that they're very light. So think back about the hat situation. You want to go to the hat store, pick up a summer hat that's very light. These face coverings are the same way. You want to make sure. I've got a Columbia one, and I've got whatever the other one. What is this one? Here's one laying right here. This is a ultra cloth hat. Uh, ultra, ultra cloth. Yeah, ultra, ALTRA, buff. But it's not a buff, it's just an ultra. I guess they've bought it somewhere for something, for whatever, uh, for promotion or something like that. It's actually pretty warm, when you compare it to the buffs, the summer buffs. And I've got a Columbia that I can't get anymore that's super, super light, but also has very high sun protection factor, or SPF. And I use that one probably more than any of them. Whenever it's a super sunny day, if I'm not wearing my ball cap or whatever. These buffs are very good for running a boat, across out on salt water or even fresh water, especially you carp guys out there. You'll know what I'm talking about. Uh, it can be hot, so you got to be really careful about the thickness of them. And you can dial that in. They're great for summer, and they're great for summer sun, but there's some out there for winter. And the winter sun, which don't forget about that. And the bonus is they protect your ears from getting sunburned. Ears, I see a lot of older guys that have part of their ears cut off or scars or whatever. I'm sure I'll have those as well. where their doctor said, "Hey, you've got some cancer on your ears. You got to get that off so it doesn't spread." I had a friend that passed away because he had cancer, so skin cancer, and the doctor didn't get it all. I won't go into that, but no fun. Miss him. Um, so it'll protect your ears, your cheeks, your nose if you can get it to ride up with your glasses as much as you can. Just make sure that it has as high a SPF as you can get with the lightest fabric you can get. That's probably that's probably the bottom line on the face covers. Um, so let's move on to clothing. As I was getting ready for one of our days out on the water while we were in Florida, I thought, well, I'm gonna dress for the day. I got a pair of or I got a shirt. I had I had my choice between long sleeves and short sleeves. I chose long sleeve. Sun on your skin seems to heat me up a whole lot quicker. Um, but again, sun protection factor, sun on the skin directly is SPF of 0. So uh, that outweighs the heat that shirt is going to generate on your body. So long sleeves, that was one of the big things. And then pants, I wanted to wear pants, same thing. If I'm back during the spring, I could wear shorts. Now I'm kind of like trending over to pants, believe it or not, depending on what we're doing. If I want to be out around from 12 to 4, somewhere in there, you can bet I'm probably going to have pants on, unless I'm fishing somewhere that's really shaded. Because I remember we don't wade too much. For those of you who do wade, you think about the waders. All you're trying to do there is just keep water off of you. Colder water, you might even have to wear some heavier pants during the winter, depending on where your tailwater is, or if you're fishing somewhere way high up or something like that. But oh, excuse me. But yes, we need to take that out if you don't mind. But waders versus no waders. So if you have no waders, if the water's warm enough, you're wearing no waders. I like to wade in fishing pants and not shorts, just because I don't know what the heck's going on, under the water. I mean, something could, who knows what could come up. I guarantee you it's not going to help you with a snake or anything like that, but it just feels a little bit better for something to brush up against my pants than on a bare leg. Oh, so you got boats versus wading with waders versus wet wading. So you got to think through that, think through the layers that you want to wear. But well, I don't think, I know I definitely want to wear longer pants with high SPF when I'm in the boat during the day. Like I said, unless I'm on a river where I can get some shade for the majority of the day, not just every once in a while, because I'm horrible about saying, hey, let's just stop and get under a tree here and fish this bank because it's shaded. It's more like, hey, this looks good over here. Let's go. I don't care about the shade. So I put that out of my mind sometimes. And that's not the best thing. And I know that, but we are trying to catch fish here. So that's 3 tips. Let's go for a bonus here. And I learned about this stuff. My wife actually bought this. Uh, um, I can't remember where she got it at Amazon. That's what it was. It's called O'Keefe's Lip Repair with 35 SPF lip balm, and she got it on Amazon. I'm sure you can get it anywhere. This is the only stuff that protects my lips. I don't know why nothing else will do it, but this stuff actually works really good. It's not in a round tube or whatever, like say chapstick is. It's more in a football shaped tube that's long and it's not round. It's a football shape. That stuff really works. I'm very high on that stuff. My lips will start getting burnt, and then they won't chap. They'll just start splitting. And because I really need to do better at this. So hopefully this will help me. This podcast will help me as much as it'll help anybody. But that stuff really works. I'm sure there's some other things out there that I just haven't tried. That works for me. I recommend it. I think that's a good deal. It's called O'Keefe's Lip Repair with 35 SPF lip balm, which is a heck of a name. Coppertone Sport, the spray stuff that I don't know, it's in a little metal can. It's kind of aerosolish. It's water resistant. resistant. You spray it on and you rub it in. I used to just spray it on. Now I'm rubbing it in too, just to try to preserve it and keep it on my body a little longer. I also use it on my face. I spray it on my hand, my fingers, and rub it in that way. Got to pay attention to your forehead, ears, cheeks, and your nose on your face. That just sun coming down hits it, sun reflecting off the water hits it both. So that's just something else to talk about or to think about. Is making sure that you've got sunblock on all the exposed pieces, especially now. This is we're in June. This will be released probably this week sometime. So we're in June. It's hot. The sun's out, which is awesome. There's not a lot of clouds, which is kind of awesome, maybe. It's getting up into the 90s already. I'm sure it'll come down a little bit and then spring back up in July and definitely in August and some of September. So we've got a long way to go. So the more you're able to get out there, the more you need to think about the protection for yourself of from the sun. Uh, so yeah, that's it. We had 3 tips and a bonus. One more thing. Remember, we're on YouTube now. With most of the episodes from here on, we'll go on there. So subscribe to the Southeastern Fly channel on YouTube. If you own a fly fishing company and you want some free advertisement, I'm going to give you a chance. Like I said, I'm looking for a hat. If you want to drop me a line, send me a text, whatever, contact me, and we'll talk about sending me a couple hats. That's all you got to do. I don't hound anybody for anything, any money or anything like that. Other than we do have the store. I need to mention that more. We've got a store with some stuff on it, hats and buffs and handkerchiefs and dog handkerchiefs or whatever. So that's out there. It's at southeasternfly.com on, just click on the store and it'll take you there. But like I said, if you own a fly fishing company and want some free advertisement, I'm willing to wear the hat. So that would replace this Carhartt hat that I have on, currently, which is a little bit too warm for the summer. But anyway, let's wrap this one up. Thanks for listening us and joining us and listening on this episode. Feel free to share this. Please share this with your friends and your fishing partners. Just text it to them or share it on social media. There's a lot of people doing that out there, and I really appreciate it. Josh, I appreciate you doing the work you do. Anthony, all you guys that have been folks that have been not just guys doing it, folks that have been sharing it and trying to expand the audience. I think that's great. I really appreciate it. But you just listened to three strategies for keeping cool on the river when fly fishing on Southeastern Fly. See you next time.